this is the part of it that I like. Um, so we're talking about the ease of learning between the two websites, and obviously they both had a large range. Like I was excited and mentioning earlier, it is a niche market, but they do um, try to fulfill a lot of different markets, like I said, where they have contracting services where people don't want to do home improvement, consulting for people who want to do their actual home improvement and get their hands dirty, things like that. And so I guess with what we saw, right, since most of our participants were younger, right? So um through I Lowe's had less of a chaotic design. I felt like for me, it was really hard to manage the Home Depot website, maybe not just because of the colors, but because everything felt kind of, how would you say, stuck together, very
Squishy.
hard to
Was it
find.
really
Like,
squished?
yeah, it felt like there wasn't a lot of spacing. And so it didn't really make me
Mhm.
want to go shopping or maybe get excited to do any home improvement. And they're also like they had sales, but it wasn't. Anyway, I'm getting excited talking about the
What I
websites.
think is also interesting about that one is that, like, even when you look at color theory, when it comes to the
Right,
color blue versus orange, people are more likely to kind of wait. Blue inspires patience and trust.
right.
Orange has other theory behind it about being like energetic and fun. But when it comes to buying big things for your home, trust as a homeowner,
Right, that's
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 key.
everything, and so I think they definitely chose, like, the right color for that. Home Depot did have more drop-down elements, which I think made Lowe's kinda score a little higher in that aspect, but I didn't really care too much about that. I think what I liked more about learning the website was that Lowe's kinda had, like, these little ideas, I guess when I was looking at it, it was closer to Easter, right? So they had, like, springtime ideas for, like, your patio and things like that, and so it really felt like fun. It made you want to get like into some home improvement, even if you really weren't like wanting to per se. But then Home Depot was kind of like the more, I don't know, it felt more like the construction workers like website, which is not a bad thing. It just felt more for like if you know what you're doing, I guess, I don't know, come to Home Depot if you need more help. Lowe's, trusting, we can consult you, etc. The
Mhm.
utility for the websites, they both had a mean rating at around 6, so they both scored pretty high, which is good. Um, Similar layouts, but having the search bar at the top of the DIY function that we mentioned in the same location made it better, making it, I'm pretty sure that's why it came out as similar. As far as the products and services, we know that Home Depot and Lowe's offer a lot of the same products and services, but like Amanda said earlier, one will always be more prominent in a different area. So like for me in Miami, I know I have a bunch of Home Depots. They're super, super popular. But when I lived in Gainesville, I know the more popular place to go was Lowe's because it's right
Mhm.
there on Archer Road. So even just a few hours, you'll see there's like a different market. But upon our reflection, they both received a 1, and we think that not everybody wants to utilize the home improvement stores, so that's probably what we think happened there. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, moving on to the impressions of the website. The impressions of the usability were similar. They both had means around 5 and a standard deviation under 1. So we think it was due to the fact that both of the sites had the navigation bars that were really easy to use. Even though for me, Home Depot was a little clunkier and still harder to find things, at least, it had more drop downs, however. So if like,
Mhm.
it was like bathroom, kitchen, and then within that, they would how do you say it? They would get more specified. So that was helpful.
Right.
Um,
I think also it's interesting to look at Lowe's versus Home Depot, that one definitely is more modern in its design. It's even
for
using, like,
sure.
sans serif. Like, Lowe's uses a sans serif font, which in general is more widely attributed to being modern and young, and Home
Right.
Depot has the little serifs on top, and that's, like, it's so minute and small, but I think even those things, like, I know my parents prefer Home Depot, but
Right.
I prefer Lowe's. I just, like, I think there's even these, like, subconscious biases that we have that
Right.
impact where we like to shop and what we think
Yeah.
about the websites.
Yeah.
My dad probably would love the Home Depot website.
I mean, I'm a little biased because I've used Lowe's for home
Mhm, me
improvement,
too.
and they're wonderful, just contractors, and they find you a really good contractor that they trust, that are within their system. A lot of the times they're utilizing, small businesses within the area, and that's wonderful too, and so it feels like they really try to connect, like, these cool ideas of home improvement and making you excited about it and giving you all the
Yeah.
resources that you need to actually do it. But then sometimes when I feel like I walk into a Home Depot, I kind of get like nobody wants to talk to me. It feels like everybody like knows what they're doing. But
Mhm.
so they intend to
Mhm.
use the sites, like I said, I get like they both have a niche market. But we did find that Lowe's had a little more organized, was easier to use, the colors with the bars, more engagement with their users. Home Depot is also really organized, but it's just harder to look at. So, all right, moving on. Let us discuss some of the post-task questionnaires now with the scenarios and fun things. So our first scenario that we had was fun, and we asked them, what was the cost of your favorite electric drill? And I found this to be funny because, like I said earlier, not everybody has the need to go out and actually like look for a drill, but it was just fun to see what they came up with. So for Lowe's, it was pretty interesting. One response was like, we do not have it. And I think that might have just been someone that doesn't need it, like we said. But otherwise the responses were pretty much within this 80 to 150 price range, which if we look, comparison to Home Depot, they were much cheaper. So, and then also we still had one response is like does not own one, either does not need one,
Mhm.
however you would view that. So I guess Lowe's had the varying responses, but I think the problem with them was the price points. Home Depot also had some mixed responses, but we can see that they were lower, so maybe that has something just to see, we're looking at price points here. So the variability in the product availability, so basically what that means is if maybe Home Depot has more different brands of drills available, and maybe that's why their price points were lower, and that's why people, wanted to pick them. And Lowe's, maybe not so much. Maybe they don't have more manufacturers. We don't know, but these are just some of the things that came up in the study. So moving on to scenario slide number 2. What was the best DIY project you found on their site? So this is what I found fun because I thought Lowe's, in my opinion, did better, but maybe I'm just biased because of the colors. But so if we can look at the Home Depot responses here, so carport DIYs, Easter decorations, which makes sense because we sent them out around that Easter time. Tables, I guess somebody did tables, inspiration guys. If we look at Lowe's, it's like DIYs, workspaces, bedrooms, another DIY. So it seems like if you, like I said earlier, if you look at the Lowe's responses, they're more inspiration, DIY inspired, like want to do things. And I think that has to do with the way that the site is set up and the way that it's spaced out. It has that engagement, right? But if you look at the Home
100%.
Depot responses, it's like, you know, it's like there's one DIY, but it's for a carport. I don't even know what that means. I guess things you would use for.
It's like an outdoor garage thing.
Oh, okay. I see. I don't know these things, right? Easter, maybe there was like I don't know. We see
Yeah, but
there's more DIY on
I
the
see what
Lowe's
you're
side.
meaning,
It
like,
seems a little more like people
more
used what they
inspiration.
wanted when they went to
Yeah,
Home Depot. They were just like, they're knowing what I want. We're gonna get in, get out. Lowe's, they kind of wanted to peruse the website. It speaks.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
so both, the implications of that, like I said, Lowe's providing a lot of DIY fun things to get people engaged. Maybe Home Depot not so much, but they did have like a clear category, so people could figure out what they wanted to. So let's move on to the third one. Okay, third, was next day delivery available in your location based on that promoted service? So um this I found interesting because Home Depot said yes. And then so it was 3 yeses and then 1 no, and then for Lowe's, it was half. So I'm wondering, I mean, I'm not really sure about, like, the market, if there are more Home Depots than there are Lowe's, or if it's maybe that, how I was saying earlier that maybe Home Depot has more brands of, like, drills per se.
Mhm.
Maybe they have more, and they more
Yeah.
stock of things, right? So maybe
It
because
definitely
they
could
have
be
more
regionally
locations.
based, though.
And it could exactly. So
Yeah.
and definitely because I think our people, I mean, I know some of my participants were in South Florida, right? Like I said earlier, I have a lot of Home Depots. So seeing this, yes, all these yeses did not surprise me because I know them. They're very ample about their service. Lowe's to be kind of a 50-50 kind of threw me, but maybe it's just because of like Amanda said, where we are. Um, so implications, clear communication delivery is very important for people and the usability, right? Like knowing everybody loves our Amazon Prime, like we love to know that we're going to get it
Yeah.
next day. So it's very important when people want to use a website, especially for home improvement, right? So like I said, discrepancies may impact decision making,
Mhm.
but that makes sense. So we said that. So let's move on to the next things. Lessons learned. So we talked about a lot of fun things, a lot like some
We
color
sure
theory in
did.
there, some niche marketing, some geographical points. We just went
It's
off, but it was fun,
a
I
lot of
think,
different
to
things.
do this,
Yeah.
right? So, right. So we talked about that importance of that user-centered design. Like I was saying, we talked about a little bit of color theory and drop-down menus and the importance of having a website that's easy to use. Effective data collected methods. So we use Google Forms because we thought that that might be efficient, but maybe there were other ways. Maybe we could have sparked some engagement in that way, done it differently, maybe gotten
Mhm.
some people on a call or something. So we definitely saw some, I don't want to say
Challenges.
discrepancies in our number, but that was a challenge for us for sure. Just trying
Mhm.
to get people to do
Doing
it.
Yeah, remote collection was hard because it
Right,
added an extra variable,
right,
that we couldn't control, which moves us to the next one, challenges in usability testing.
right. So,
Same thing.
right, but, like, also, like, I know one of my people asked me how to use the form because I had to send them 2 because it's for 2 websites, right? And so
Right.
they had trouble navigating from one to the next,
That's
and,
fun.
it
It
could be
also
that.
was clunky doing the pre, the during, and the post questionnaire because we
Right,
didn't want them to do things until after the fact, so that was
right.
hard.
So for next time, like, if we ever run a study like this, we can think about, like, the way that not just using Google Forms, but maybe the way that we format, like, our questionnaires, things like that, to make it easier for the user to, question themselves on these things. And then sample size considerations, obviously, there was just 2 of us in the project. So we only needed to get 2 responses from each, but obviously, if we had a larger sample size, that definitely could have helped us, get, like, a
Mhm.
more
I think,
well-rounded
like,
answer.
a better look at what
Right,
yeah,
right. But like, said, we're alwaous improving
continuously
here, and
improving.
that's why we're talking about it. And,
And we had a great time collaborating, so
yeah, we totally did, and I think it was really fun to see because me personally, I'm like the daughter of a mechanic. I love home improvement work. My dad's always doing funky things, and I love DIY things. So for me, I actually had fun looking at the 2 websites and just playing around with them.
mhm, it was a
Um,
good time.
yeah, so it was good.
And I think that
So
we learned a lot that could also help, like, in the future for other websites and as we, like, move on in our careers about, like, things that could help us make sure we don't
right.
make the same mistakes.
And
So
like I know Amanda and I both work for wonderful companies now, and I feel like the things that we learned doing this project are things that we can bring into our professional
mhm,
development, right?
implement.
Like, if
Yeah,
we need to run a study or if something's going on at our work, like this helps us. So I don't know. I thought it was cool, but just want to say thank
thank you.
you.
Thanks
Yes,
for a great semester. I really
yes.
enjoyed it. Enjoyed
Thank
the
you, Dr.
class.
Rucker. You're the bomb. We appreciate you. All right. Let me see how I can stop this recording now. Stop